Good morning, grade 5s, and welcome to your unit review for Unit 1. I'm Mr. McMurdo, and welcome. Just a reminder that this unit review will briefly touch upon different topics that may be covered on your unit test. You should also go over your notes from your notebook and also go over the notes which I've posted in Google Classroom, which are the same notes that you have in your notebook. You can also review your math journals and your math journal pages, and you can review your quizzes to ensure that you understand the topics which are going to be covered on the unit test. Your unit test is going to be on number theory, and the first thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find factors of numbers. Now remember, factors are numbers which can be multiplied together to get a product, and the factors come in factor pairs. Every number has at least two factors. Prime numbers have exactly two factors, and composite numbers have more than two factors. So what you want to do is you want to take your product, which is this number here, which is number 28. So this is your product. And you need to find all the factors or the numbers that multiply together to give you that product. Every number has one and itself as two factors. Now, we know that 28 is an even number, so we know that it's divisible by 2, so we know that 2 is a factor, and 2 times 14 is equal to 28. Now, if we go up to 3, we know that 28 is not divisible by 3, so 3 is not a factor of 28. However, 4 is a factor of 28 because 4 times 7 is 28. And then you can keep going up. 5, well, 5 is not a factor, 6 isn't a factor, and now we're at 7. Well, we already have 7 here, so we know that we found all the factors of 28. And to the right of the number, you can list the factors 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 28. That gives you the list of factors for the number 28. Now, if I move down to the next question, let's look at 32. And the same thing as 28, you're going to start at number 1 and multiply it by the number itself, which is 32. 1 times 32. You can always start with 1 and itself. Now 32 is an even number again, so we know that 2 is a factor of 32. So you would write 2 times 16. Those are 2 more factors of 32, or a factor pair. 3. Does 3 go into 32? No, 32 is not divisible by 3, so 3 is not a factor. Well, 4 is a factor. 4 times 8 is equal to 32. And then we can check for 5, no. 6, no. 7, no. And now we're back at 8. So we know that we found all of the factors of 32. And then we can write and list the factors beside right here. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. Those are your factors, or those are the factors for the number 32. Going down, we can check once again whether or not a number is a prime or composite number. Now remember, a prime number only has 2 factors, 1 in itself. If a number has more than 2 factors, that is a composite number. Let's go again and start at 1. Well, 1 times 17 is equal to 17. Is 17 divisible by 2? No. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Well, no. None of these numbers are divisible by 17 except for 1 and 17. So, 17, which means that this number is actually a prime number because it has exactly 2 factors. this number's prime. 32 and 28 are both, let's do this in a different color. 28 and 32 are both composite numbers because they have greater than 2 factors. So that's how you find the factors of a number. You look for the factor pairs, and then you list the factor pairs in sequential order or ascending order. And then, once you have the factors of that number, you can determine whether the number is a prime number or a composite number. Now, once you've actually written out your factors, you can create what's called a factor rainbow to check whether or not you have all of the factors of that number. Now, oftentimes students will make the mistake of figuring out the number pairs of multiplication expressions, but when they list the factors, oftentimes they will leave one factor out. So I taught you in class that a good way to check your answer is to create a factor rainbow. So if you have your factors of 28 listed, 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 28, a good way to check whether or not you've got all of your factors is to draw a rainbow from each number to the factor which is its pair in the factor pair. So 1 times 28 is 28, 2 times 14 is 28, and 4 times 7 is 28. Now you've got your factor rainbow and you know that you have all of the factors for that number. Now let's move on to 32. Well, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. And once again, you can draw your rainbow to connect the factors in their factor pairs. 1 times 32, 2 times 16, and 4 times 8. And then at the bottom, we can take 1 times 17, and we can draw the rainbow to ensure that we have the factor pairs for that number. Now, once again, looking at these factor rainbows, you can tell which one is prime and which is composite. This would be a prime number. 17 would be a prime number because it only has 2 factors, 1 and itself. Exactly 2 factors, 1 and itself. And 32 would be a composite number because it has greater than 2 factors. And same with 28. It would also be composite because it has greater than 2 factors. And that takes us to the conclusion of the first review video, dealing with factors, factor pairs, and factor rainbows, and using factor pairs and factor rainbows to determine whether or not a product or number is a composite or prime number. If you'd like to tune in to the next video, please click on the link in Google Classroom below the link for this video.